Last speaker is Vandana Gandhi, CEO and founder of the British Orchard Nurseries. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to thank all the directors here from IOD and all the esteemed guests and audience here to take the time out to come and listen to all the speakers. I was just joking with Mr. Sunil and the other members here that we have this rule of one woman director launched, and I'm glad that I'm the one woman speaker in this conference. With much ado, I'll start off with the presentation and talk on British Orchard Nurseries and the importance of preschool education into the government sector, into the economy of the society and countries, and tell you the importance of the skill development for women, which is an important part of all the workforce that we have. Just to take you a little bit through British Orchard Nurseries, we are one of the only ISO certified branch chain in UAE. We have ISO 9001, 14,000 and 18,000. So we've taken primary and preschool education into a different sphere in UAE. We are very privileged to say that my school and the nursery chain is part of government organizations, and we just heard the last presenter's talk on smart cities and smart governments, and of course smart cities come with smart companies, smart people, and that's a whole chain. His Highness here has had the vision to incorporate nurseries into the government establishments, and this has helped the women workforce and also helped his vision for women empowerment. Skill development, I think I'm wrong. Okay, just to tell you a quick gist on the awards that the school has received for quality, for innovation, excellence, women empowerment, which I must say we like now just recently proudly received from Ms. Sherry Blair and the Minister of Economy for being the most friendly woman workplace. And this was a privileged moment for us and me as an Indian CEO to head the company. Skill development, of course, is very important in companies, and I'm sure with so many directors and CEOs here who run established companies, trainings, empowerment to people, and especially the women workforce. I will focus a bit more on the women here because the British Orchard Nurseries with its 14 branches has a 100% women workforce. So if the gentlemen here feel that there are issues with maternity problems and women HR issues, which I'm not going to be shy about in saying here because I've heard all the grapevine, but to handle a 100% women workforce definitely requires a lot of policies, empathy, and skill empowerment, like sensitivity towards the women problems. So if a nursery chain having 100% women workforce can compete in the competitive area of UAE and earn the government contracts for tendering for nurseries in the prestigious government establishments, also support the free zones like Silicon Oasis and Media City where we have nurseries for the working women there. So I'm sure that with proper HR laws, policies, the vision, mission, value of the company, the women can be a happy workforce to lead. Of course, this is the strategies which most companies, follow, which is through risk management, controls, strict health and safety procedures, etc. for children. Now, mind you that our customers are very young children, 2 years, 3 years, 1 year old children, and of course their parents. So imagine having to go through, customer feedback and, take their feedback seriously, especially the mothers who will not leave you for one small thing gone wrong. So if you think the customers in your companies are difficult, you should come and do some community service in any of the nurseries. But this is just to tell you that on a lighter side of the corporate world that we've had a glimpse of in the last 2 days, coming back to school days, coming back to the rules and discipline that we've all gone through in our childhood life, I think simplicity is the key. The simple ways of administration and the ethics and the values which our Honorable Prime Minister enforces, and of course our visionary rulers of UAE, the conducive working environment that they've placed for women in UAE. The happiness index for women is very high in UAE. So I'm sure this all relates to smart cities and smart governments. We cannot ignore the role of women. We've had the new laws in which women are required to be part of boards, part of the governments, as a statute. This is a few quotes by famous people on skill development and training. I will probably say that in Korea and Germany, which are the developed economies, of course UK and US, they stress a lot on skill development. It's a cost, I'm sure, that people look into. But companies have to realize, and if an SME like British Orchard Nurseries, because I've heard speakers here from public sector, enterprises, big names, government enterprises, who will definitely invest in like technology, in other stuff. But I think people is something that we have to invest in, and leaders like yourselves, like me, we all have to look at the people power. We have certain qualitative objectives for skill enforcement. In a service industry like nursery education, our biggest challenge and our biggest asset is the employees. So once we overcome that, and if I'm to say that, yes, in a big way that we have overcome it with the Dubai Quality Awards proof that we got last year, in the sense that we are probably the first EFQM model certified kind of nursery. So, which is just to show you that even a small nursery chain, if I may say humbly, can go to the level of quality of being EFQM certified, win the Dubai Human Development Award, the CSR Award for Arabia, which is for contributions towards charity and environment. Companies, and with the new act which has been launched in 2013 about the CSR and a fixed percentage going towards it, I think internationally it is acclaimed, and I'm glad that we in India are looking at it as well. We've got a minimum 30 hours of training required for every staff, and this is above the norms of the UAE requirement, and we go above it. But this is to tell you that companies, when we invest in staff and we look at satisfaction scores for on-the-spot training, this helps us to reach our goals of customer satisfaction with proper performance management system, which everybody I'm sure has. Again, these are some of the systems that we enforce to meet our objectives of quality, innovation, excellence, and we have therefore won the awards. Leadership style, I'm sure handling and managing women has to be a transformational leadership style. Again, open door policies, flexible working hours, loans, and driving approved hours during work hours, dropping and picking up of their own children during the working hours are some of the extra things that we go ahead for, which I'm sure if you implement in the HR systems in your companies, you'll find a big value add for the women, because the family and the work-life balance is a problem for the working woman. So if we can work around these issues, we can get strong results. If you see year on year for British Orchard Nurseries, the involvement of the women workforce, the targets we have crossed year on year with conducive HR policies, having a very empathetical outlook towards the issues of the women and the young children they have. It's just to tell you that how we have such kind of data to support our practices. We do sponsor staff on trainings. Again, ongoing studying and learning. I think it's very important that companies should encourage their staff to continue with studies, if I may say, or courses, or proper enhancements of their skills, which is an extra add-on cost, but in the long run, it motivates the staff. We will have loyal staff. And again, I would come back to softer skills, simplistic view, going back to school, going back to preschool philosophies. Some of the awards, center one is by Cherry Player and the Minister of Economy in UAE, just for the women satisfaction scores at British Orchard Nursery. This was a Middle East level award. And I'm proud to say that being an Indian woman, I look after most of the government nurseries in UAE with His Highness's vision of having a nursery set up in every government department for the country of UAE for his working women. I think it's an excellent proposition for even corporates to have nurseries and daycares in their settings to help the working woman. you have research proven that the maternity issues, if I may call, of coming back late to work or demotivation is drastically reduced. And if a country like UAE can take such kind of measures to look at the women workforce in their companies, I'm sure countries are looking into it to pass laws for such measures. India is not far away, and with His Highness's vision and the UAE government's vision for women empowerment, women support, they have a minimum number requirement for women in governments. India too has that. I would look out for support from all the CEOs across the directors and everywhere in the companies in India to look at women welfare and of course empowerment in their workplace. Thank you very much.